this is Dorothy with Dot Scrapbooking, and I am going to make today what I'm going to call my stained glass card. So I went ahead and cut a piece of cardstock that's, well, it's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because that's what I was thinking at first. And I pulled out my oxides, and I'm using, doing a rainbow effect here. So we're going kind of the reddish pink onto orange. And so we're just doing the regular RGB, Biv, blue, indigo, violet, whatever. So anyway, I'm going ahead and I'm using my little brush to put this down and trying to take, some of the ink off with it, which I just should have used separate brushes because I've got certainly enough to do that. I don't know what I was thinking. So now we're going to go for the green, and that's going to go down the, well, sort of the center diagonally. And I'll do a little bit more. I didn't do a great job of blending the colors and getting as smooth a look as I wanted. But I'm going to add, so here comes, I think that's just denim maybe. So I'm going to add kind of a mandala top on this. And what you're doing is it's kind of like trapping color. I think this was on a Pinterest thing about trapping color. And so, and there's my violet. So I'm just gonna go ahead, and so that's the stencil that I have, and it's really gorgeous, I think. But I'm just going to center it and then kind of flip it over, and you can still center it from that side. And I'm putting washi tape in the corners so that it doesn't move, because I want it to be symmetrical. So I'm just putting this down there, and if the washi tape would just cooperate, and it's not, it's being stubborn, and so I'll fix it. So there we go. So now I've got that down there, and I've got kind of a mess. I'm using my craft mat here that just wipes off like a breeze with just any kind of wipe or, wet paper towel. That's a baby wipe that I used. So look at how pretty that is. I mean, you can already tell that it's gonna be pretty. So I'm putting my Versamark down, and I'm just taking the whole darn pad and blotting it around so that when I look at it, I can see that the shiny glue substance, whatever the magic of Versamark is getting on there. I wouldn't want to use a brush or anything, because that would, it just wouldn't, with something that has this much detail, it just wouldn't work very well. So the blotting worked just fine. So I'm just trying to make sure I've got enough on there, because it's kind of like a one-shot deal here. So I'm being pretty generous with my glue. And here comes, this is clear detail. You can never be too cautious. So I'm putting clear detail down, and I'm putting a lot on there. So you also want to be careful how you're jostling this around. You want to make sure that your cardstock is tight against your stencil. And so I'm just kind of carefully taking it off to make sure. So I've got a lot of powder, so I don't want the powder blowing all over the place. So I'm just going to go ahead and dump it back into, I wish we still carried this tool, but we don't. Anyway, you can find those little angles, the little trays, most any place for a couple of dollars. So you can see that the embossing powder is on there. You can see the design. Not great, but so anyway, I'm going to get out my heater, Kind of zoom in a little bit so you can see better what's going on. And I'm just starting at the corner. And as soon as you see things turning dark, that means the beads are melting. There, you can see it. And that is so much fun to watch those beads melt and the colors start popping. Is that fun? It's really fun to do embossing. The first time I did it, it was like I was starstruck. It was like, oh, that's so cool. And it really doesn't get old. I have to say, the only thing that's getting old is me. Okay, so there we've got our clear. So now that color underneath that shiny embossing that's what they call trapped. I mean, it's not going to come off. So now what I'm going to do is take my intense black and gonna take my, now I would suggest that you wait longer, and this could have been a little bit of my problem here. I just kind of jumped into it. And so that distress ink, it takes a while, quite a while to dry, and I just jumped right in. And so I would suggest waiting, and maybe you'll get a brighter color. But I'm jumping in and putting the intense black down. And so look at how beautiful. It's a beautiful design. It's really a beautiful stencil. So I will link, if the things are available, I will put all the links down below so you can kind of see if you want to purchase anything, you can purchase it. So the brush is a little bit easier to work with than the sponge. So I want to make sure that the black is good and black. And then at this point, I'm hoping that a lot of that black wipes off the color. So I think it's pretty, but I was a little disappointed that the color got kind of dimmed. So now I'm wiping off the excess black off of the shiny parts. And I'll tell you that at this point I was disappointed because I was really hoping that the color would be more intense. So I'm just kind of trying to get as much, but like I said, I would really suggest when you do this, make sure that you give your Distress Oxides a better chance of drying than I did. So any little, the other thing I'm going to say is any little discrepancies I had in the blending not being very clear really doesn't matter at this point. So you just see the color that you see, and really any kind of, well, that's not a very nice looking blend of color, really kind of goes to the wayside, in my opinion. So I'm just kind of, trying to work at getting more of the black off. And so at this point, I'm trying to figure out, okay, now what am I going to do? Because it's just not the way I had envisioned it to be. It's pretty, but it's not what I envisioned. And so at this point, I'm kind of disappointed, okay? And I was doing this for a color challenge, a sketch challenge and a color challenge. So I finally decide, okay, what I'm going to do is I have this thin cut. The more I looked at it, the prettier I got. So I've got this thin cut that's multi-square windows. Okay, I'm not sure whether this is available. If it is, I'll put the link below. And so I made one in black, just to kind of go with the whole black sticking out thing. And I went ahead and did the thin cut on it. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down with some liquid Tombow so you can, easily adjust orientation. And I don't want to put too much down. I don't want the glue oozing out all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down right to the very edge because the thin cut is 4 by 5 1/4. So there's a little bit of glue here and there. So now I've got kind of a window here, and I'm just going to clean up a little bit. And the other thing I did was cut a piece of 5 1/4, so that is 4 by 5 1/4. So then I cut a piece of 5.5 by 4.25 cardstock. Now this I think is kind of like a blush pink, but you could use white, you could use whatever color glitter paper you've got. And once again, I'm using the liquid to glue it to the glitter stock, because Tombow, the regular Tombow doesn't work real well on glitter cardstock. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and use the liquid. I don't know, am I saying that right? You know, the stuff you put down with the runner. The runner doesn't work as well on glitter at all. So that's why I'm using liquid. So then I cut a piece of 2.25 by 2.25 glitter cardstock to match. And also a piece of black that's 2 by 2. No, I'm lying. It's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And this is a new stamp set that I got. I think it's Harvest Blessings. And they have a pretty tiny I think it's Thinking of You. So I'm going to go ahead and put some Versamark on it after I kind of run it over my hand to get any kind of, excuse me, kind of oils off. Excuse me, I want to make sure I got enough Versamark on there. Okay, so now I pull out my white, not my clear, my white embossing powder. And I forgot to use the anti-static pouch, which you really should do so that you don't get any of the extraneous. They want to stick. All the little beads want to stick to everything. Anyway, I was able to, pretty much get them off. No problem. So I'm going to use my tweezers to hold it, because that's a small piece of cardstock and I would burn my fingers for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and heat it up, and you can watch when the beads start melting. So as it is, it sticks out nicely against the black, but look at how when it melts, it just really pops on there. So you're in our thoughts. Now that could go for sympathy. It could go for somebody who's sick. Incident that happens in somebody's life. So this could be a versatile card. And now it's looking, I just, now I'm not even disappointed that the color isn't subtle. Now I'm really glad that the color is subtle, because it just has a real kind of subdued effect rather than garish. And so for something like You Are in Our Thoughts, that's what you would want, right? Something kind of subdued. And so I'm real happy with the way this came out, even though, it just shows you that if you're kind of disappointed with something, just keep on working with it and see what you can make. Now I'm using the runner to go, so it's going to be cardstock to cardstock. And, so just keep on working with it to kind of make it happen for you. So I'm real pleased with this, and, I hope you like it too. Let me know what you think. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you subscribe to me, and give me a thumbs up if you like this. And I just stuck it to my 4.25 by 5.5 inch cardstock that I get in my value pack. And here is the one, I made another one. So same thing, but I didn't put the black on it. So I'm going to use this for maybe a little happier type card. One that has a sentiment that goes for the more bright colors. But I'm very happy with the way this came out. So thanks for watching. And, it was a pretty easy card to make for a big effect. So everybody take care and happy crafting. Bye now. Oh, just a reminder, here are the Distress Oxide colors that I used for this. So it's Chip Sapphire, Pickled Raspberry, Spiced Marmalade, Mustard Seed, Seedless Preserves, and then Green. Bye.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Smith. Thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and learn along with me. Thanks. Bye-bye.